Hey guys, I am going to do passport makeup. So I have, it's time for a new passport. It's been 10 years, which is crazy. And I'm going to go get some pictures done. First, I'm going to see if I can upload the pictures myself. I didn't realize you could do that, like take it on your phone and upload it online. If not, if that doesn't work, I'll just go to CVS like I always do and get passport pictures. But I wanted to film this makeup tutorial because maybe you guys are trying to figure out makeup for pictures, whether it be your passport, driver's license, or headshots. And I'm going to do some like tips for photography makeup. So I have a clean face right now. I actually did my hair last night. I blew it out and I put like the little donut bun overnight curls to give myself some volume. So when I take my hair out, you see it's going to be nice and like kind of framing my face, nice volume. When I did my passport pictures 10 years ago, I made this crazy mistake of doing super curly tight ringlet curls, and they photographed horribly, and I hated that picture for the last 10 years. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just go ahead and have my natural kind of wave. So we're going to start with primer. So for any photography, you don't want to be super shiny because it doesn't work well with photographs. So I recommend a mattifying primer or a blurring primer. And if you're dry, you might be able to skip this step. But I'm going to take my Danessa Myricks blurring balm in the shade 5, and I'm going to put this in my T-zone. So this is going to mattify the center of my face, which is the part that you want to be matte. It's okay to have a little bit of glow like on your cheeks, but just a little bit to just kind of blur and mattify. Now I'm going to go to foundation. I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. This is shade number 7, Neutral. And I want to pick a foundation that it's going to photograph well, nothing too super dewy or glittery. If you like more of a matte foundation, go for it. But I want something that's going to look like skin for me because I don't want to be super glam on these pictures. I want this to look good in 10 years. Hopefully I'll have the passport that long. So I'm just going to go in with my Danessa Beauty Pinnacle foundation brush and kind of buff this over my skin as well as to my neck and anywhere that kind of shows, because it is going to show kind of like a headshot. Areas that you need more coverage, just push in and go all the way back into your hairline so there's no like light mark. So my skin looks nice and even. Now I'm going to take 2 concealers. One of them is a skin tone color. This is from Milk. And I'm going to put this on any discoloration. So I have a little pimple here, here, and here. And it was mostly covered by the foundation, but I would just want a little extra coverage there. Then I'm going to take a lighter concealer from Natasha Denona, and this is going to be my highlight. And I find that highlight and contour is really helpful in pictures because it gives your face some shape. I'm not going to go crazy though because I don't want it to look like glamour shots. I just want a little bit of brightening. There is a YouTuber who I love. Her name is Alicia Marie, and she was saying how whenever she goes traveling internationally with her passport, which she does a lot, one time they didn't believe that it was her because her picture was so nice, like so glamour shot in her passport photo. So they were like maybe like debating whether they should let her through because you know how it is. Sometimes when you are on travel days, you're looking real bummy, and then you have your beautiful passport. So I want to look good, but not too good. Not like my fullness. So then I left these spots to dry, and I'm going to tap them with my finger, or you can do a concealer brush. And don't forget behind the nose. If your ears are showing and you have red ears, get those too. Okay, so a little bit of brightening, nothing crazy. And then I'm also going to go in now with contour. I use my Kat Von D gel contour. This is pretty lightweight, so it's not going to be super thick. And I'm going to hit the perimeter of my face, a teeny bit on my nose, and a little bit on my eyes. I use this as kind of like my eyeshadow base. And I'm going to take my Eastern Beauty little dense cheek brush, and I'm going to blend this down. Blending it really far back into my hairline so again there's no like light stripe. And then here, my nose, and then on my eyes. And I kind of put it on the outside to add a little extension to my eye. I'm going to take an extra step, and you can do this if you want. I'm going to take more of a cooler contour, and I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to hit right where I want more depth, just for shaping. The first one was kind of like a bronze. This one is more of a sculpt. So this is going to go in the deepest part of my cheek contour. I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to get it right on my nose. Like I said, this one is a little bit cooler and a little deeper, so it mimics more of a shadow. So it's going to slim my nose, it's going to slim my cheekbones, maybe a teeny bit on the jaw. I'm not going to put this on my forehead because I don't need it on my forehead. Okay, now I'm going to go for blush. I'm going to go for something neutral because I don't want it to be like crazy. Like, even though blush is super on trend right now, I don't know, in 10 years will it be? So I'm going to take my Patrick Ta and not too much, and I'm going to put it above my contour and a little bit onto my cheeks because the passport photos are straightforward, so you want to still see a little bit of blush on your cheeks. So that's why I'm hitting the apples. And again, this is kind of like a very subtle color, but it brings color back to my face. Now I'm going to take my loose translucent powder from Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm going to use my powder puff from Makeup by Mario. I got this powder puff from Sephora in our goodie bags, and I love this powder puff. It's like actually my favorite. And I took his master class, and he was like, oh, I like my puff because it's thinner than the other ones, which makes sense because you can really manipulate it. So I'm hitting my T-zone, my under eyes, wherever I put that lighter concealer, as well as all over my nose too. And again, there are some hot spots for the photography, and they're usually like right by the nose, right here, right by the eyebrow, right here. Obviously the T-zone, so don't forget that. Then I'm going to go in with my NYX Buttermelt Bronzer, and this is the shade Butta'd Down. And very lightly with a fluffy brush, I'm going to set my contour. I don't want this to be too heavy, just to kind of add a teeny bit more color, so I'm using a light amount of pressure and a fluffy brush. And then I'm going to use the smaller side of this brush and just kind of go over that deepest part of the contour right there. And then I'm going to use the same color as my eyeshadow. So I'm going to take on a fluffy Kashik brush, and I'm going to go a little higher because it kind of gives my eyes some more dimension, more lift. They look bigger when I bring my crease higher. And then this is also going to be my nose contour. So whatever's left on the brush will continue down my nose. Now I'm going to take the Patrick Ta powder side of the blush, and I'm going to hit it with my Hakuhodo blush brush, favorite blush brush of all time, and go ahead and set this. And it's going to just kind of mattify my skin so it looks nice and photography friendly. And now I'm just going to take a layer of setting spray just to kind of melt everything in. This is actually a mix of different setting sprays that I put in here. This is like the Emco Beauty mix with the Urban Decay All Nighter mixed with Bioma Hydrating Mist. And I kind of created my own, like the best version for me setting spray. Like not purposely, but it kind of works out that way. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the eyes. So once my face kind of sets, I'll move to the brows. But I have my Danessa Myricks. These are the Groundwork palette shadows here. So I'm going to do a little bit more shadow than normal. I'm going to take this nude color right here, and I'm going to place this. Oh, the sun just shifted. Let me go ahead and turn the light on. I have my light on this tripod. I'm going to take the lightest color, and I'm going to use this as an inner corner brightener right here, just to kind of add some shape to my eye, a little highlight. So I'm hitting the tear duct, as well as like the inner third of the lid. I wouldn't worry about doing too many shimmers because I don't know if that's really going to translate into the photography. Then I'm going to take a crease brush, and I'm going to go for like maybe like a medium brown right here. Tap off the excess, and I'm going to lightly kind of sculpt the outer V with this. So this is not a really dark color purposefully because I don't want it to be super smoky. I'm just kind of beginning to kind of add a little bit of dimension to the eyes. And as you can see, I kind of wing out my eyeshadow just to kind of add extension to the eye like that. Now I'm going to go in with a darker color. Maybe I'll do this chocolate brown right here. And in this little pocket, the smallest part of the pocket, I'm going to just add a little bit of smokiness right there. When I go to the airport, I do put on usually a little bit of makeup because I'm usually going to like straight to a conference or something. But I don't wear much more than my everyday routine, so I'm not going to go super glam with these pictures. But if you're a glam girl and you wear glam makeup, maybe just wear your full beat that you normally do. Okay, so now I'm going to move to my brows. I'm going to actually use the Groundwork cream shadow. And I'm going to take kind of like the taupey color, and I'm going to use that to run it through my brow. This is like kind of like my background fill. I might have to shift to a denser brush. They match my brow, my microfiltrated brow tattoo. I'm going to go in with this brush, which is a little bit more finely detailed. This is all from Chesnut, and I'm using a darker brown. And now I'm going to kind of add in more precision to the brows. Maybe a few little hair-like strokes. I'm going to take an extra step and I'm going to do concealer on the back of my hand and a little precise brush, and I'm just going to clean that up. I don't do this normally because I don't really care on an everyday basis. But I think it will look really nice in the picture and just kind of refine my shape of my brow, as well as kind of lift up my eyes and serve as my brow bone highlight. Blend it really good with my finger because you don't want to see that line there. See that? A little bit of lift to the eye. And then I'm going to set that with some of that nude powdered shadow again that I put on the inner corner. So then we're going to move to eyeliner. I'm going to use the dark brown liquid liner because that's just my style. I will always do a wing liner. So I'm going to go in with a little wing. This is Whiskey from Urban Decay. And then I'm going to do a little bit on my lash line. The problem with this liner is that sometimes it's not opaque and sometimes it is. It's just the way that the product flows, right? Okay. Not flowing like I want to today, so I am going to take the Groundwork palette, and I'm going to go ahead and get the dark brown, the cream from here again, and I'm going to go over that using that really detailed brush, and that way it kind of thickens it. So these creams from Danessa Myricks, they don't last, I find. I've tried to wear this as eyeliner and it smudges and wears throughout the day like fast. So, but for photography, it's okay because I just need it to last for the picture. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this on the lower lash line. So I'm going to take the brown, the powder, and I'm going to put it right here with a pencil brush. Just to kind of sculpt that lower lash line and just finish off the eye. Then I'm going to take a lighter brown right underneath that and just soften it. Okay, so for my lashes, I'm going to do a corner lash. I don't want anything crazy, but I do like the lash extension that it will give me. So I'm just taking these teeny little corner lashes and my callus lash glue. All right, I'm going to pop these on the corner. See that? A little bit of boop. And then I'm going to pop these on the other side. Okay, see the difference? Cute, right? All right, I'm going to put a teeny bit more eyeshadow on just to match the lash. I'm going to take the medium brown color again and just kind of hit it right here. Just for a little bit more shadow. Whenever I put on lashes, I usually will adjust my eyeshadow because it kind of changes the shape of your eye. So now my eyeshadow has to compensate a little differently. Alright, so I put like just a little bit of shadow just to kind of meet the lashes so it's not so much blank space. Okay, now we're ready for lips. So the lips, I'm going to keep it pretty neutral. I'm going to do lip liner and like a velvety kind of lipstick, nothing too glossy for pictures. So I'm going to take my e.l.f. brown lip liner. I'm going to wipe off whatever gloss is on here, my like lip moisturizer. This is e.l.f. in the shade Spill the Tea. I'm not going to overline, just following my natural lip line. So this is kind of just a little bit of lip contour. And then I'm going to come in with Makeup Forever Artist Pencil Extreme and Anywhere Caffeine and just kind of soften the edges so it's not so brown. I'll take a little bit of the concealer that's left on this brush and clean up my lip line. This is the Maybelline Superstay Teddy Tint in the shade current mood, which is like a light kind of pink. You know, that's a little bit off. I think that e.l.f. lip liner is too yellow on me. So I'm going to grab a darker brown. This one is Make It For Versatile Chestnut. Okay, that's a little bit better. See, it has a little bit more pop. And then I'm going to do my powder brush. And I'm going to grab, this is my face powder that's from Laura Mercier. It's just like a baked powder. I'm just going to tap it over the whole face just to kind of make sure everything is blended. This is mineralized, so it's not so drying, but just all over just to make sure there are no harsh lines. Okay. And then one last setting powder just to melt. Last setting spray. And then I go in with my Too Faced Soft Blur Flexible Finish Setting Powder in the shade Medium. And I'm just going to hit my under eyes just to kind of smooth and brighten. This should go after setting spray because you kind of lose the blur when the setting spray kind of hits it. So I'm kind of hitting the T-zone, the hot spots, under eyes, like that. So this is my photography makeup. So I'm going to take my hair down now. And this is the makeup. So the hair, I'm going to have to be careful because I don't want this like going like this. So I might have to just tuck it up behind my ears a little bit. That's better. Alright, so this is the look. And check the photo requirements. No uniforms, no glasses or head coverings unless you get approval prior to that. And I have to shoot this on a white background. I'm going to see if I can just shoot on a light background and change the color to white. We'll see if they'll accept that. So yeah, this is my photography makeup. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about this look or doing makeup for taking pictures, just let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, fellas.